Hi there, listener. You're about to experience TADPOG. Tyler and Dave play old games, and there will be plenty of game talk, but also copious amounts of crude, off-color, offensive, and immature speech. So if you are of a rather sensitive humor constitution, we're just letting you know what you're in for with this show. It has games. It has jokes. You know, just games and jokes. Take the games, take the jokes, and have a good time.
Hello, Internet, and welcome to another TADPOG podcast. It's a show where three old guys. Well, okay, two old guys.
He's not 30 yet.
Okay, but two old guys and one younger guy. Well, they played old games. I didn't play games, so it's a bunch of guys that did stuff and didn't do stuff. It's whatever.
Yeah, that's how
There you go.
Two of us went to an arcade convention, and then one of us stayed home and worked. So we're going to talk about your work week.
Yep.
So how'd everything go?
I made 40 pounds of mashed potatoes.
I was going to ask about the potatoes.
How's Karen in accounting doing?
This bitch, she don't give a fuck.
Well, you know you have an HR department, right? You can probably bring it up with them.
Yeah, they're pretty nice. They're pretty nice so far. It doesn't hurt when your mom's the CEO of the credit union either. They're pretty nice.
Oh, man.
Who are you?
You want to roll right into it? I mean, I'm your bearded host, Tyler, and I guess I have one bathroom story. My work bathroom.
We also have things to eat.
Let's eat some things.
You want to eat some things?
Eat some things.
Yeah,
Let's
I would like
make
to
this
have
a
at least one of those.
A strictly arcade expo stuff, and I'll save a bathroom story. Because what you handed me here, because I've never seen this before. That's why out of this pile of stuff you have, so this is Pocky, which I love Pocky, but this is cookies and cream. So Pocky cookies and cream covered biscuit sticks, artificially flavored. Okay.
You sound like you didn't believe it.
What? No, there's no way this isn't real cookies and cream.
You didn't get this fresh from the Pocky Farmers Market this morning?
Organically sourced Pocky.
But yeah, I guess moving ahead just a little bit, like one of the things that I did while we were up in Chicago is I went to a arcade called Round One, which is a Japanese chain of arcades. Over here, it's kind of like a Dave & Buster's for weeaboos. You know, like the annoying anime fans. You know, they got like I got a little Gundam model from my tickets, and I also got like the little Hello Panda things, and you know, just Japanese candy stuff. Yeah,
it is. We're going to talk about the Arcade Expo this episode. We are going to talk about Round One on Wednesday's episode, so stay tuned for that. But here's a spoiler. Very, very, very loud in there.
Yes.
That is the loudest building I think I've been in that a concert wasn't going on.
Yeah, part of it. Well, okay, we'll get to
in the
that.
arcade expo.
No, the Round One.
Oh, okay.
It was just like a wall of sound.
I'm gonna try this.
All right.
Yeah.
What is cookies and cream Pocky?
Cookies and cream Pocky.
Just nibble on this a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. Tastes like every other cookies and cream things I've ever had. But
Yeah.
so they were right. It is cookies and cream flavored. They weren't
Yep.
lying.
It says that on the package. Accurate. Accurate description in a
Not
Starburst.
bullshit. We promise.
See, that would make me more suspicious if they have to insist.
You have trust issues, don't you, Paul?
A little bit.
I'm on triple fist this pocket.
Damn.
Oh,
I've never seen a man eat 3 at once.
just taking so many in his mouth, right there.
So much cream.
You know, that's an
You got to it
abomination
before
against
me.
God, right?
You're an authority on that, Paul. Just couldn't tell us.
Oh man.
What's up, Internet? I'm Dave, and Paul has given me a sensationally chewy fruit candy called High Chew. That is what I chose from his big bag o weeaboo, which I am going to try right now. I'm going to hand one to everybody here at the table. This is what it sounds like to open one of these. Very Japanese, I'm sure you can tell from the sound.
Oishi.
There you go.
Okay.
There you
Looks like
go.
taffy.
Do you think there's Japanese jokes on the inside of the wrapper?
It's just a lot of xenophobic shit. just talking so much shit about the Chinese.
Instead of Bazooka Joe, it's like what Fat Boy Jim, and it's all about the bomb dropping. It's really tasteless.
The candy or the joke?
The jokes. Candy's okay.
Yeah. This is sensationally chewy.
Have you ever eaten tree sap?
No. Have you?
Yeah, too
Really?
many times. I remember being out in the woods with one of my friends who was telling me that tree sap is basically Native American gum.
Okay.
So that they would eat it and chew it like gum, and it was great. So we would go throughout the trees in the woods, eating whatever little pools of tree sap we could find.
I feel like after the first one, you would get that this wasn't the best prospect.
No, it wasn't. It was really bad. This is that chewy. I'll get 30 seconds to just chew in.
Just chewing noises. That's it. That's how we roll.
Yeah, get that Foley.
I should have chosen a Hello Panda cookie. This wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be.
It's pretty good.
It reminded me too much of gum. I didn't want to swallow it.
It's it's almost gum.
My natural reaction every time I tried to swallow it is like, no.
You've trained yourself.
Yeah, I gotta relax my gag reflex. At least that's what Tyler tells me.
Primitive.
But
You're gonna get sick again.
If you're gonna do that, put your mascara on.
I need the full experience.
I'm Paul. I'm your guest host. I'm back in the studio. The recurring guest of Three Amigos right here.
That's right. Three Amigos cast, where we spend every episode talking about the full motion feature movie, Three Amigos.
I could do that for like 10 episodes.
You think you could do 10?
Yeah, I could do 10.
I could do probably 1.5, and I'd run out of things to say. I would just repeat myself. Man, that was a funny movie, wasn't it?
I could do one on El Guapo and just sweaters.
El Guapo.
I would just keep on trying to redirect the conversation to Galaxy Quest. It's basically the same premise.
On this episode, we're going to teach you guys how to fool a Mexican gang by making your own fake army out of clothes and straw. Spoilers.
Our tried and true full of cartel episode.
I would love a gritty reboot of the Three Amigos that's 20 minutes long and ends with the grisliest murder scene you've ever
It's just
seen.
them and Juarez.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I'm sorry, Paul. Your intro has been hijacked.
I don't really have a lot to bring to the thing. I mean, I guess I can hand out some of this Hello Panda. We can try that.
All right.
Because you guys haven't tried the vanilla cream ones, have you?
I don't think so. I
don't
think
think
just had
so.
the strawberry.
Yeah, Hello Panda. They're like these little cookies
They're
that
so fucking
are full of.
They are really
they're
good.
The
so
ones that
good.
I'm familiar with have chocolate cream in them, but these have vanilla.
That's probably the most American Japanese dessert I've ever had.
Because it's sweet, or
It's really sweet. Yeah, it's like it hits all the points that an American dessert should.
and it's shaped like a burger,
And it's shaped like a burger, and it's got a bear on it.
a hamburger.
Hamburger.
Glad you guys can pick up the slack on
All
my
right, so
my poor Japanese.
you can get one of these. This is a vanilla cream Hello Panda.
Mine's holding a balloon.
Yeah,
That is-
mine is.
It is way more cookie than I've ever had before in a Hello Panda.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not much vanilla in mine.
It's pretty good.
I think the chocolates
I
are
like
better.
it still.
Yeah.
Yeah, the chocolates are better.
All this Japanese stuff, so I'm gonna re-Americanize with this can of Yoo-hoo.
I was
got
just
here.
about to ask you if you had a fucking can of Yoo-hoo.
I haven't had a Yoo-hoo in a very long time. So
didn't-
let's see how this goes.
I didn't know they came in cans. I thought they were exclusively
This was in
bottles.
like a sleeve 12-pack at Walmart.
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Yep.
It was on sale, so I was like, okay.
What's the calorie count in a Yoo-hoo?
This can is 170.
Wow, I couldn't do.
mean, it's not as bad as a
that's not
Coke.
as bad as a soda. Yeah.
But it's of course a chocolate drink. This is not,
Not
chocolate milk.
milk. There's a sticker over it that
We're
says
not fooling anybody.
the government insists that we tell you this is not chocolate milk.
Water, high fructose corn syrup, whey from milk, and then less than 2% cocoa. Yeah, all right, let's give it a shot.
Have you ever had milk from a can? That seems like a bad idea,
Milk
right?
from a can.
I would not trust it.
Yeah, I know, right?
I've had coconut milk from a can.
Right, but just
That's it.
just straight up
straight milk
from a cow.
It's got to be in a carton or a bag. Just a
Yeah, I
loose
know, right? How's the Yoo-hoo?
Tastes like watered down chocolate milk. You guys want to have the experience again? When was the last time you had a Yoo-hoo?
I haven't had a YouTube probably
old-
since YouTube existed. I would like to try a sip. Thank you. That does bring me back.
Take a sip of this.
I remember I used to love though. I don't know. It's kind of different out of a glass bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's all right. It's okay. Can't say I'm gonna keep buying it, but it's all right.
Yeah, it was fine to have on sale.
Well, 1 down, 11 to go. I have to live with my regret for at least one more week.
I'll just get really drunk and then drink 11 more. It's fine.
Oh man, no one loves a drunk like a good Yoo-hoo drunk. I just imagine you waking up in bed, just yellow empty cans crunching over your body. So you guys wanna get to it? You wanna talk about the Arcade Expo?
Yeah, tell me. Okay, so let's start from square one.
Right.
What is this?
Okay, so let's go even further back than
Start from
that.
square zero.
Square zero.
Start from circle.
We all right. So this we mentioned this on a previous episode, but we randomly received press passes to an arcade convention that was in Rosemont, Illinois, which blew my mind. I was kind of on a lark that I asked for press passes. It was like, we're not getting these. So it's like, can we have press passes? And then like we heard back from them saying, yeah, give us our names. Unfortunately, by that time, Tyler, your work schedule had already been made out.
Yeah, it's like what you were gonna leave on. Like the convention started on Friday, and like she told us like Wednesday.
Yeah, we got
So it's like,
confirmation
yeah,
on Wednesday,
it's not gonna-
so it wasn't able to happen for you. Unfortunately, I really wish that it could.
Any other time, I probably might have been able to finagle my way off, but
Yeah.
like work just like it's bad right now. So
Yeah. Well, I think that we should write a sternly written letter to your supervisor.
and the lady who didn't tell us about until like 2 weeks after the original message.
No.
Yeah.
No, just anything to get you in trouble at work. Let's
Okay,
do
well,
that.
that's fine. That's fine. I don't like insurance anyway.
No, it's overrated. Although, don't get me off on a political tangent because
Because we need to make America great again. It's all I'm gonna say. It's all I'm gonna say. Don't get me started.
all I'm gonna say is that our policies might go up to 22% this year, so just keep that in mind. It might be more affordable to just save the money instead of paying the insurance.
Damn Obama. Man, founded ISIS and look what we're doing.
So we got invited to the Arcade Video and Game Room Expo 2016, which was in Rosemont, Illinois, which is AKA Chicago. It's pretty much Chicago.
Yeah.
And that ran from August 25th to August 27th. And Paul and I just made it back 30 minutes ago. I haven't even gone
So it's
home.
all fresh.
It is all fresh. I
Yeah.
didn't go home. I went straight here to Blanket Fort so that we could record.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. And Paul, thanks for coming to the expo with me
Yeah, no problem. This was fun.
because I did not want to go alone because I am a big scaredy cat. I'm really glad that I went to this. This was the inaugural. That's probably how you say that word. This is the first time they've done this thing, and it was a lot of fun. They had panels set up, but like the biggest draw for me was the game floor. Because they had arcade games, they had cabinets shipped in and set up. There were probably 5 to 6 rows of games that were set back to back. So they had a nice selection. Pretty much everything was set on free play. Not everything was.
Yeah, there were a couple that were weird. Like a couple where the coin mechanism was unlocked, so you could reach in there and trip the little thing. I've learned that over at
Game Galaxy in
and then there were a fair amount where they don't have a free play setting, but there was like a button that had been built into the coin mechanism that you could just press to make it trip the thing, so that you got a credit whenever you press that button. But I think there were maybe 2 machines that we just couldn't figure out how to add a credit to.
Yeah, the Sonic Fighter, Sonic Championship.
Yeah, Sonic Championship.
That was there.
Which is kind of like Virtua Fighter in that it's really hard to control for not a lot of payoff.
The novelty on that game wears off very fast. I think it was like halfway through the first fight, I was like, I think I'm done. I really like playing. I like playing as Tails, but okay, the novelty's off.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, they had a lot of stuff. They had some pinball tables there. Like I remembered somebody there mentioned that this was kind of an offshoot of a pinball themed convention or expo,
Pinball
or
Expo.
whatever you want
Actually,
to call it.
I'm still wearing my bracelet that got me in. I don't know if you read yours, but it actually reads Pinball Expo.
Ah, okay.
Yes, yours is all squished up.
Yeah, I've been trying to take it off because I'm not good at getting these wristbands from these things off. So
they are connected somehow, and I know I overheard that next year they're planning on rolling it into one. They're planning on having it like be pinball and arcade.
Yeah, I'd be into that.
Yeah. Well, I like the tables that they had there, the pinball machines that they had there, because they had the
Guns N'
Ghostbusters
Roses
machine.
Yeah, Ghostbusters, an all-male Ghostbusters, which is a weird concept.
Yeah, that's
reimagining.
It's about fucking time.
Yeah, really.
We really needed a win. Like it's just so hard
We need
to be
break
a white
the glass
male.
ceiling.
Yeah, it is really hard to be a white male. Ugh.
But yeah, that was the newest one
Right,
that
Paul
they had.
Kluhl. It's all
Oh, I'm so glad that you mentioned Paul Kluhl, because he sent me something in the mail to open as an intro, and because I came straight here, I wasn't able to get home to grab that. So Paul, I received it. Hang on, I will open it. And Tyler, he's got something coming for you too. So this might actually not you as well. The band U2. He mailed something to you.
he knows we know Bono.
Right.
Please pass this on to Bono.
Yes, exactly.
And the Edge.
He said it was really weird. Something about making sure that you don't open it. I don't know. So something's coming for you, and this might actually work out well, so that we can maybe open both of his packages on the same episode.
Sounds good.
So,
All right.
what were we saying? Oh, how hard it is
pinball
to be
tables.
white in America and have a penis.
Let's back up one from that and talk about
right.
pinball.
Pinball, right.
They also had. Did you have a chance to play the Hobbit or Wizard of Oz tables?
No, I didn't even see those there.
They were on the other wall. Like it was like an exhibitor that had them. It wasn't. It wasn't. part of the
Oh,
thing.
right. Okay.
But yeah, they were there on free play. Like, and they had like full like. Because a lot of pinball tables, they'll just have like the DMD display. I think that's the word they use, like where it's just like lights that kind of make pictures,
Right.
that kind of thing. But like they had like full
Light
TV
brights.
screens.
That's what they're called. Light brights.
But they had like full TV screens using clips from the movies that they would do. And I'm very bad at those. I don't know. There's only a few pinball tables that I'm like, oh, I'm actually pretty good at this. Like Terminator 2 treats me pretty well. On occasion, Doctor Who treats me all right, and Medieval Madness I can do okay on. But
That's a fun table.
But yeah, I just wanted to give Chris Edler a real boner there.
Yeah.
But
I hope that he can join us next year, and we need to ask him if he can come up, especially if they roll up the Pinball Expo. And
yeah,
do this.
definitely. But yeah, like the thing about those two new tables is that they're made by a different company, Jersey Jack, which I feel are I think that those are the two tables that they've made. Honestly, I might be talking on my ass here, but I'm pretty sure they made both of them. And the thing that I noticed is that they like a lot of pinball scores like super crazy high.
Yeah.
You know, like one of the tables there, the Guns N' Roses, like the pop bumpers all are worth like 100 million points right there. And I'm just kind of like,
I did play that game.
yeah, but they like the Jersey Jack tables, like, you know, like there's stuff that's worth, you know, like 10, 50 points. I think like anything outside of like mission stuff is worth no more than like a couple hundred points. And so
They actually give you letters.
but yeah, you know, they like I would just be done after a short game and I have a score of like, you know, like 6,000 and I'm just like, I'm going to shoot myself. This was terrible. You know, just
I'd be so good at pinball in 1958.
oh man. But yeah, so those were neat tables. It's interesting to see them kind of in some of the more modern machines, you know, what they're doing with that. You know, I wish I had something interesting to say about the playfield, but, you know, I mean, it's more pinball. They got, like, toys picking up stuff and, like, you know, moving them over there. Like, the Ghostbuster table had, like, a little Slimer that, like, you could launch the ball, like, through. Like, you'd flip the thing to try and hit him because he's moving back
Yeah,
and forth.
he's like a Slimer action figure. Like, imagine the Slimer toy that you had as a kid, and they essentially have that on a lever that you try to hit with the ball. And then way in the back, he never came into play for me. They have the State Puff Marshmallow Man.
Yeah.
Related to the State Parf. I don't know what that is.
State Parf. That's the Tater Day knockoff. The State Parf Marshmallow Marn.
That's actually my favorite thing to order at Fazoli's is the chicken stuffed parf.
The other thing that I thought was cool on the Ghostbusters table, they had like this one little thing, like one of the, I think it's called an orbit, like the thing on the side where they had like, you know, it looks like there's just a ghost in the way, but
Right.
it's just a
The
hologram. You know,
That's
and I was just-
animated?
yeah,
It
like
was
a
really
little
cool.
animated hologram. And the first time that I hit through that, I was just like, oh shit, I didn't even notice that's how that was working. I feel kind of stupid for not noticing, but it was really neat. You know?
That machine was in use the entire convention.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it was so rare to find someone not on it.
Yeah.
Because it was like, if someone wasn't on it, someone was there waiting for it to be open.
Yeah.
Yeah. But good stuff. They have that at an arcade not too far from me called Flashback. Like they just recently got that. And I'm gonna have to check that out at some point.
I like the pinball stuff. I'm not huge into pinball, but I did like that Ghostbusters machine.
Yeah.
I thought they had a good selection of actual arcade cabinets there too.
Definitely.
There were games there that I hadn't heard of, and there were a lot of classic games there too. There were games there that I hadn't thought of in years. Virtual On
Oh yeah.
is one.
What?
Okay, you know this game because this game was in our local Pocket Change.
Virtual On?
Virtual On. It is a mech-based fighter where it's a huge cabinet, right, with seats in it. And then you sit in the seats, one on each side, and there's like this like Black
Divider.
Mirror kind of divider, so you can't see the other person's screen, but you're side by side with the other person. And then instead of like a steering wheel for like a racing game, there are two joysticks essentially that you use to control the mechs, and they have triggers and they have buttons on top, and it's all like polygonal. And like all the characters, everything's rendered and polygons. And there are you fight on a battlefield, and each character kind of has its own like theme. Like there is there's a pink female-ish.
It's very obviously Sailor Moon.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely,
you know,
absolutely. It's Sailor Moon bot. There is unfortunately, the character, I was not good at all at this game. I like to go ahead and just say right from the beginning that Paul beat me at everything that we played together, except for Domino Man. Suck it, Domino Man champion.
cannot be stopped.
Bully cannot be stopped.
Yeah, that's a thing. Like because they have like the little tutorial thing for it, and they're explaining, okay, so what you want to do is lay down these dominoes along this track and keep people from knocking them down. That's the thing. So you have to fill out the thing before somebody can knock it down. And like most of the people, you can just like push out of the way and avoid the bees. But then there's like a big one that it just like he walks out and the tutorial just says, "Bully cannot be stopped." I got a picture of that, and I'm just like, ain't that the truth? No matter what you do, bully cannot be stopped.
So I was happy to see virtual on there because I hadn't played that since probably late middle school, early high school.
Yeah, I never got to play it because every arcade that I was in, like it was always like 75 cents or more.
Yeah, it
And
was
I just like-
expensive.
and I was just like, I could do that, or I could play like 3 credits on, you know, something that I know that I like, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I played it once, I think exactly, and then it was like, oh, that was over fast. Back to The Simpsons for me.
But yeah, they had one that was kind of interesting. It was it's like a pool. It was a pool table. This was the first one we played where they had like a couple of pool cues and like a little pool table that you would set a cue ball on, you know, and they had like different balls on the screen, you know, that you're supposed to knock into the pockets, you know, and so you would hit the physical ball, and depending on where it hit in the little at the end of the little table that they have, it would figure out what angle it's going on the screen, you know. I mean, it was a cheap gimmick thing, but I was still like, this is
novel.
neat. You know, I'm glad I played it once, and then I was like, okay, I don't need to do that again.
Oh yeah, that's the only other game I think that I won against you.
Yeah.
So the games that no one even gives a shit about, Domino Man, which I barely got a higher score than Paul, and then I'm sorry, but I straight fucking destroyed you on the pool game. All like other 65 other games, Soundly was thwomped.
Oh man.
What was there anything like incredibly unique there, like or rare or old? Like what really stood out to you?
That cold. What was that? What was the beer game?
Oh, Tapper.
Not Tapper. The one that's
It's just called Ice.
That was
Cold
just the
Beer.
bar.
ice cold. Yeah. What's the game that got me real drunk? Ice cold beer.
Yeah, Ice Cold
was the
Beer.
name
I'm
of the
pretty sure
game.
it's what it's called.
Seriously,
It's an old
Ice
Taito
Cold Beer.
game. And it's like a physical thing where, you know, there's not any video component to it, but it's like this vertical thing, you know, it's got holes all the way through it, and you've got like this bar, and so you've got 2 control sticks, you know, you move one up and like one side of the bar will come up and vice versa with the other one.
So you're moving either end of this horizontal bar.
Yeah, and
there's a ball.
Yeah, like a
bounced on
ball. When you start the game, a ball will come out onto it, and so you're trying to balance it on that thing. You know, move it from side to side because certain holes on the screen will light up, and it's like, okay, that's where you're trying to get the ball to. So you have to move the bar up enough, up in such a way that it gets the ball to that while avoiding all of the other holes. Like it's a little bit like that labyrinth.
The wooden labyrinth.
Yeah,
Did you ever
labyrinth
play
machine.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's all vertical.
Yeah.
Super Monkey Ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. So, but yeah, that was an interesting one. And then, like, I think like 3 games into it, it stopped
broke.
working for me.
Yeah.
Which I felt bad.
Yeah.
What was the beer concept then?
I have no idea.
No idea other than it might have just been an advertisement that was painted on the side of it.
Maybe it's supposed to be like foam or something.
I don't. Yeah, that's a fucking stretch because that was like confusing me too. I was
Yeah.
standing there kind of befuddled, like, okay, I guess ice cold beer is the name of this game.
I don't know what to tell you about that.
I guess reverse Plinko was taken.
What were there any of the physical games that like the arm wrestler or like the punching bag? You have to punch to see how hard you get.
They had that can. They had a can crushing.
It was
game.
never on, which made me sad. But there was a thing where like you would I guess it's designed to like test your strength or something, you know, like you would push down on this thing and it would crush like a little can, you know, that they had on the thing, you know, I don't know exactly how. I wanted to see it in action.
We didn't get to play it
because I don't know if it was just a matter of it was never plugged in or what. But I wasn't gonna mess around with the electronics at this thing, so. I mean, it was just I wish that I could have done that, but that was the closest thing to like any kind of strength tester or anything like that we saw there. They
Was it just the honor system that you're not going to fuck anything up?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, just about any arcade is kind of like that, where it's just, we have these machines here, and like, please don't spill drinks on them.
Yeah, everyone there was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like everyone was there having fun. Like, I think there's kind of this thing where it's like, if you're paying for a badge or traveling for there, I think it's pretty. I think they kind of expect that. I mean, no one's gonna like pay the money.
No one's coming in just to wreck shit.
Right, exactly. So next year we should do that. No, just kidding. I wish that the con had been marketed a little better. I assume that's the problem because the crowd seemed a little thin.
Yeah,
like this was a really cool experience.
To be fair, it helped us because we didn't have to wait in line long for pretty much anything.
Nothing. Yeah, I mean, we were able to just get into everything and like play whatever we wanted to play whenever we wanted to play it. It did make me feel a little sad though because this was a cool thing.
Yeah,
and
to be fair, the more people that come, the more likely it is that there's going to be more machines on the floor.
Right.
They can rent out a larger space. Right. All that stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So. I mean, there is that. I mean, like Paul said, it worked out for us because we were able to do a lot of stuff and not have to wait. But it was a really cool convention, and hopefully it catches on.
Yeah,
but this isn't a long drive for me. So like I would definitely drive 5.5 hours. That's what I drive for Dragon Con. I would do this again next year for sure.
Yeah.
What was there to do besides just like play in the game room?
They had panels. They had a schedule.
What kind of panels like?
They had so we haven't mentioned the big thing, and that is that Billy Mitchell was here, which I can talk about. I can talk about Billy Mitchell probably for like 3 hours.
We'll get to that. In case anybody, and the King of Kong, if anybody is unfamiliar, the guy who got the first perfect game of Pac-Man, and in King of Kong is presented as
the Lord Voldemort,
kind of a
gamers.
Dick. Yeah,
yeah, he is. He's portrayed. He's definitely the villain.
Yeah,
I think it's fair to say he's the villain in King of Kong.
Yeah.
So he spoke a lot at the con, and I remember when we showed up there, it wasn't too much later that Billy Mitchell showed up on the floor, floor with the arcade games. And I felt...
he just didn't send in play videos for you guys to like just watch?
I felt like immediately I was like weirdly like intimidated. This man has like... He fucking oozes charisma.
Yeah.
That is not like, you cannot pick up on it from watching King of Kong. Like, he comes off as kind of a weird guy, I think, in King of Kong.
Yeah.
That is not the case.
He comes off as a stereotypical like used car salesman.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, that's probably like a better way to put it. And like that didn't come through in person. Like, he was like, I mean, it was one of those things where it's like when I saw him, he was. It's weird, but it was like he just seemed like an entity. Does that make? I mean, I know that sounds crazy, but it was just like, oh shit, Billy Mitchell's here.
Yeah,
and it's like he walks in like he owns the place, and it is like he's shaking hands. People are talking to him, and he's being really nice to everybody.
Yeah, I got a picture with him, and he. First of all, I'm just like, hey, could I get a picture? And he's just, oh yeah, sure. And then like he just does this thing. He's like, hey, your hair's kind of messed up, it was just one of the. Oh, I get it because
Paul shaves his head.
Yeah.
For anybody listening, you can't see Paul right now.
Yeah. So it was just one of those things where it's just, that's but I don't know, just the little bit of interaction I had with him, because you went to the actual panel where he was speaking.
I did.
But I mean. After I knew what I had seen in King of Kong, and now that I've actually met him in person, I think that it's a thing that he is confident in everything that he says to the point of sheer arrogance, but he is able to back that up with like a 23 charisma. You know, like there's just something about him that just seems effortlessly charming.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
And I none of that came through in King of Kong.
I didn't expect it. I really didn't expect it. But like, he is an extremely charismatic man.
Yeah.
I watched. So the last thing that I did at the con was they showed a movie called Man vs. Snake. Have you heard of it? It is a movie about a guy named Tim McVeigh. Who they do they make it a point in the movie to like explain that it's not
Not
Timothy
that
McVeigh.
one.
Right? Yeah, not that one, the good one.
Not the dead one.
Right.
Just a super dark movie. Turns out he likes video games.
Not the one who ate mint chocolate ice cream and then was executed.
I think you mean cookies and cream Pocky, right?
I remember, I don't know, it was strangely fascinating, this article I read about death row inmates' last meals. And it listed just all the... They do not a thing anymore because people were fucking with it. But like all the famous serial killers and people who'd been put to death, like what they requested. And Timothy McVeigh was like 3 pints of mint chocolate chip ice cream.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Did he just pee like mint colored?
Never got a chance, I guess.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Man versus Snake. They showed the movie. It was great. The movie's about Tim McVeigh, he got 1 billion points in a game called Nibbler, and they make a point in the movie where it's like no one knows what fucking Nibbler is, and it's Snake essentially. You know, the game on your cell phone,
okay.
but there's a maze element to it. And he got 1 billion points. He was the first person to get 1 billion points, and they all of a sudden it's revealed that he's not the only person who did it. Someone in Italy claims that they did it. So it follows the story about Tim McVeigh essentially trying to reclaim his title. It has a King of Kong feel to it, but it's not, it's different. There's little animated segments and stuff like that. And it's a great movie. I bought it because I liked it so much. And Walter Day and Billy Mitchell signed it. I would definitely, if you're listening to this, check out Man vs. Snake. I can't recommend it enough. But anyway, after the movie, Billy Mitchell and Walter Day come back in, and what it turned into was an intimate 3-hour conversation with Billy Mitchell and 7 other people in the basement of the Crowne Plaza Hotel. And it was so fucking surreal. I cannot put it to words. It was amazing because Billy was up on stage and he was answering questions, but like at the start, no one was asking questions. And he's like, come on, questions. And then like out of the blue, he fucking points at me and says, I know you got a question. And I was like, yeah, I do. What do you think about the animated shorts that were in Man vs. Snake? And I have never been so fucking proud of myself where I wasn't like, do you really like gorillas?
TADPOG. TADPOG. Bye.
So he was, he answered all kinds of questions, and then that kind of spun off into like some personal stuff, like how the King of Kong has changed his day-to-day life, and how like his portrayal in that movie has like really created this fringe group. Like he gets death letters, he gets like crazy shit now. He's like most everybody's like a normal person and like doesn't go off the deep end, but he's like, there's 1% of people who are just like fucking hate him and let him know. And he says that he just forwards it all to Walter Day of
Steve Wiebe.
Twin Galaxies, who just files it all. So like that was like amazing to me, where it's like there's just a big file just full of hate mail to Billy Mitchell. That boggles my fucking mind.
There was one thing that you texted me about that, like, because I wasn't there. I was at another thing that we'll talk about in the next episode. But you texted me one piece of information from that Q&A that I had to stop for like 5 minutes because I'm just like, what? Why did this come up? What? I'm sorry, what?
It was because it was the most surreal thing that I had to like. Paul sent me a message because he was at round one, and I needed to go pick him up at some point so that he wasn't stranded there.
Yeah, they close at 2 a.m. and you got there like maybe 30 minutes before close.
It was like,
I hope you brought a knife. I'm not leaving.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like I didn't want to leave. Like it was Billy Mitchell was so compelling. Like it was just like everyone there had the attitude of we're not leaving until he does. And it's like it was amazing to hear him talk. It is like I told Paul like I'm fucking converted. And it's like I kind of feel like I'm about to enter the Billy Mitchell cult because like it was just really interesting to hear him talk, and he was talking earnestly, and it was very, very different than his portrayal in the movie. I mean, there's elements there, of course, that were still there. Like he is cocky, and like he even mentioned it like when he was talking on stage, and he's like, yeah, I mean, that's me. But I mean, not everything is really like. So
was he displeased by the way he was portrayed in that movie then?
He said that he was displeased with a lot of things about the movie. And I'll have to be honest with you, before the movie, there was a panel that I did not go to because I'm not really pressed, clearly. I was like, I could go to that thing, or I could just play Frogger for 40 minutes.
The Ghostbusters table is free because all those people are in the panel.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and I did get like a sweet 30 minutes in on that Ghostbusters table instead of gathering information to share with our listeners. You're welcome, guys.
Support us on Patreon.
So he had spoken about at that panel. I kind of picked it up through context clues that things didn't really the relationship between the movie makers, the King of Kong, and Billy Mitchell and Twin Galaxies. Just kind of their relationship is not really good anymore. So yeah, it was interesting. It was not something I ever would have expected. I never would have expected to like enter a convention and then leave like that Billy Mitchell guy is pretty fucking cool.
Like one thing, Walter Day is just the sweetest dude. Like, you know,
I believe that. I believe that wholeheartedly.
Oh man, if anyone listening knows half of Tadpog Sweethearts, Josh Nance. He reminds me so much of Walter Day because it's like when I met him, I was like, "Oh my god, it's old Josh Nance."
One thing I like, you know, because he walked up to us at one point.
Nicole is pretty Billy Mitchell-esque. Yeah. So I see this relationship work.
But he like, you know. After I had taken my picture with Billy, like he walked up to me and I had like my badge that had my name on it, you know, Paul Korn, and he just points at my badge. He's just like, that's a German, right? With an English spelling, and it took me a while to figure out what he was getting at. But you know, my name, and I think I heard something about having some German, you know, like, but you know, he was just finding any into a conversation,
right.
You know, like when he saw Dave was wearing a shirt with Spike's plane from Cowboy Bebop, Swordfish, and you know, he just kind of that shirt, the password, and I'm like, that's a very old reference, like to the point that I was worried that it was, that movie where we got to see Halle Berry's boobs. You know, like, but like that's the first thing that I think of with password Swordfish, as opposed to what was it, like an old Marx Brothers movie or something?
I think so.
Yeah, but yeah, like you know, it was just one of those things that. They're in very different ways. Both of them are just insanely charming people.
Absolutely.
You know?
And like hearing Billy talk about his relationship with Walter was really cool because it's like Billy is like, he expressed that he's good at reading people and getting what needs to be done. Like he can I wouldn't say manipulate, but like he can read a person and then like get what he needs from them. I guess that is manipulating.
I love that you've become a full-on apologist.
Yeah.
Like, even when he does stuff that, you know, is kind of a dick move, you're still, no, it's fine. It's fine.
It's fine, though, because they
Because
need
it's
to pay
Billy.
for those tickets.
I mean, he is like a narcissist to the point that he's a sociopath. But it's I mean, I don't want to say it. It's fine.
But he's just the sweetest sociopath, man.
You guys are wrong. You guys are wrong about Billy Mitchell, and I'm here to say it.
I mean, I will grant you that my position has warmed up on him, and maybe it would be different if I had gone to that panel. Like, I had maybe a total of 3 minutes of interaction with him, but the fact that it improved that much based on that says a lot.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it was interesting to hear Billy talk about how he and Walter kind of operate, because it's like Billy says that Walter's very like, as he put it, kumbaya, and it's like everyone's good, everything's fine, and he's, because of that, Billy was saying that sometimes people might take advantage of someone who lives life like that. So Billy like kind of sees he would do things essentially out of their best interest, and it's like Walter would, like, for example, be like, you know, I've left 3 messages for this guy and he hasn't gotten back to me. Billy, you're good with this. Can you handle it? And then that would kind of be like Billy's thing. He'd be like, yeah. And he'd call him up and
throw
then
a brick through his window.
Yeah, essentially do what it fucking took to like get the guy to call back. So I thought it was cool. And I think that that them together is a really cool, that's a really cool relationship.
I'm curious, because I didn't get to see the movie either. I bought it, so I will be watching it soon. But does the movie help to change your view of Billy Mitchell at all? The Man vs. Snake? Because I saw that he was featured in it, but I don't know how much.
A little bit, not heavily.
Okay.
He is in it, but mainly through interviews.
Gotcha.
And the movie's really cool because like what they'll do is, and this is what Billy's answer was, and Walter was there as well. So they both kind of chimed in when I asked the question about what they thought of the animation in the movie. Because it like adds this whimsical quality to it that I don't think King of Kong had. And Walter was saying that the reason that they used all that animation was because they had a lot of interviews. Because the nature of this documentary, there wasn't like a whole lot of footage that they had that they could show. So what they did was they essentially animated a lot of the crew that would play at Twin Galaxies as they were when they were like 16, 17 years old. So it's really cool. They take everybody and then de-age them, like based on photographs and stuff. So like what would happen is like Billy would be doing an interview, and then as he was talking, there would be like animation that's essentially showing what he's talking about. So it was really neat, and that's like, so he is in the movie a lot, but it's more just like through interviews and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
I had to fight not interrupting you when you said de-age. I was like, no, Dave, the term I think is euthanize.
Oh, man.
The message that I sent you when you were asking, because we never touched back on that, because you were like, hey man, are you coming to round 1?
Yeah, I just want to make sure you weren't in a ditch somewhere, you know, like, because you said I knew the movie started at 9, it was going to run until about 10:30, maybe 10:40, and then, you know, like, come 11:15, you're not there, and I'm like, okay, is everything all right? You coming? And then, like, because of signal issues, I just get a thing that says, it's interesting. And I'm like...
My messages went all out of order when I said... But, like, what made it, like, so... I would love that I was able to send Paul a text message that said, Billy Mitchell uses shampoo called It's a 10.
I want to know how that came up. Did somebody ask him what his hair care routine was?
Yeah,
Okay.
someone asked him, there was a woman there who asked him what shampoo he uses. But it was really, really interesting. That was honestly my favorite thing about the convention was that movie and then the Q&A after it, because it was really, really insightful. Like, I felt like I was gaining information that was like, it was like a private conversation, is the kind of feeling it was, because there was 7 people who stuck around to the very end.
See, so I've heard Bill Clinton also has that quality to turn any size room into an intimate conversation.
Really?
So when you said that, I was like, oh, okay, I get that. I see that.
That's interesting because one of the questions for Billy was, who's going to be your running mate in 2020? And he said that he thinks that he could make a good politician because he says that he's good with people, but he doesn't like lying, Tyler. That's a good quality about Billy Mitchell.
You know
He
who
doesn't
says
like
that?
lying.
Liars. You know who's-
I'm Billy Mitchell.
Charismatic, manipulative liars.
You shut your mouth.
I love that. I love that. Like we have the full spectrum where somebody that has been fully brainwashed, for lack of a better term, someone who got a taste, so he gets where it's coming from, and then the guy that's just like, you guys are both fucking crazy. Like this guy is a demon. It's just,
What no one here knows is,
Movies don't lie, all right?
is that
it's a documentary. All that's fact.
the husk of my original body is in the trunk of my Celica.
Are you just possessed by Billy Mitchell's hair?
I'm what you would call a Billy Mitchell nanite at this moment. It's just-
Oh man.
it was really interesting, and it was totally like it. As someone who is, I would qualify myself as a skeptic, as someone who's skeptical about a lot of things. It was interesting to leave that panel and be like, you know what? I mean, I like Billy Mitchell.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I 100% believe he is an absolutely likable guy, and it makes me want to reanalyze some of the stuff from King of Kong.
Yeah.
But some of that, unless you're saying that some of that is out and out fabricated, there's
Not in
things
Hollywood, Paul.
Yeah, you know what I mean, though.
I know.
Just some of the stuff that happened in the course of that movie feels very hard to justify.
Well, I do
and
know.
I mean, I kind of wish that I could be at a panel where he talks about some of that stuff, and I'm sure that he's kind of tired of talking about that specifically by this point, so I don't know. It just, it's something that I'd like to look at again,
He is definitely a competitive guy.
Mm-hmm.
That was apparent where it's like, if he wants to win something, he's going to that's it. Like he's going to win. He's not going to give up until he wins. And it's interesting, hearing him talk about skill in games. I think that was really cool. There wasn't enough time afterwards because he was trying to he was edging closer to the door and people kept asking questions kind of deal. But what I would have loved to have asked is, what do you think about now that when you go to a convention and stuff like that, you're not putting quarters into a machine, where's the drive to because he kept talking about one of their goals was to last as long as you could on a quarter. It was a challenge. It was to beat the game developer at the game by making it last as absolutely long as possible. So the question would be is that tied to the quarter? At what point? Because it's difficult for me, who was born in 81 I can kind of grasp that concept, but most of my life, classic video games I played on free play. So it's difficult for me to tie that directly to a very physical loss. You know what I mean? I'm not really losing anything when I lose the game. But these guys who are playing these games before me, they were losing. They were literally losing money. And the more times they die, the more money they'd lose. So it's a really interesting way to think about it, because I don't think about games like that anymore, because in modern games, a lot of modern games are trying to tell a story. And I think that's a great thing. I love that about games. I love games that have narratives, but it's a very interesting, there's a stark contrast to the games that Billy Mitchell is playing competitively, because it's that was very much a competition. There's not a whole lot of story to Donkey Kong, for example. It's more of this is a game.
Well, if you see the Mario timeline, Dave, you'll see there's a lot of story.
It's kind of one of those things where it's I feel like those are just games that are very much games. Those games are closer to sport, I think, than modern day games are to sport. For example.
Okay, I get that.
There's skill that goes into modern games, absolutely. But it seems like a lot of modern games are very much I mean, we want there to be skill involved, but we also want to make sure that we tell a compelling story and that there are characters that you're interested in. Like even, like modern day shooters that a lot of people shit on, us included. I mean, they do have at least some
Josh
small
Nance,
amount.
not real.
Yeah, exactly.
Not real gamers.
So I think that's interesting. And next year, I hope to ask him that. I was fucking kicking myself because Walter Day, he saw the press badge that I was wearing. He's like, "Oh, you're press." And I was like, "Yeah, I do a podcast, and we talk about old video games." And he's like, "Would you like to do an interview?" And I was like, "Yeah, I would love to do an interview. However, I do not have any equipment here." And he's like, "Oh, well, I can round Billy up and we can do some interviews." And I was like, "I would love to do that, but I do not. I literally have just my laptop and the internal mic is garbage." So next year, seriously,
We'll get that
next year.
portable
I want to
thing
get
and-
one of the handy recorders and like. Walter was really nice.
And I'll ask Billy Mitchell, like, where do you get off?
Yeah.
Question 1: how dare you?
Dave was my friend before you talked to him. Now he is gone.
Now every time I see him, he's wearing some kind of American flag.
He's got chicken ties. He's always talking about hot sauce.
He's got a tattoo on his back just says "Please Billy Mitchell" and an arrow pointing down. Just
I'm glad you brought up hot sauce because
Glad you brought up sodomy.
that's the real hot sauce.
the second thing I heard him say was, "I should have brought hot sauce. Everybody's asking me about hot sauce."
Yeah, what the fuck did he bring hot sauce?
And
I guess that would have made him look like an asshole if he'd like dragged a pallet of hot sauce behind him.
he rides in on a forklift.
You want to talk to me? Go through the hot sauce.
The reason he uses It's a 10 shampoo is because the same place that they store it is where they store his hot sauce.
Oh my god!
So he said that there is a room where they keep all the damaged goods, and they let him just take whatever he wants from there. So I love that.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
So he said, in exchange for this, I will, anytime anyone asks me what shampoo I use, I'll make sure to give you guys a plug. So
that honestly, that is amazing right there.
I fucking loved it. I had a really good time at this convention.
I'm glad.
Oh man, good times.
You guys have any other big moments to share?
We went to another panel that was like 90s nostalgia.
Yeah, they had a game developer from, well, he's been around since like the 80s. Brian Collin, I think it is. He's the guy that he was like the lead artist on Rampage, developed General Chaos, some other stuff that I'm trying to remember offhand.
A lot of stuff for Midway.
Yeah.
He was a big guy there.
Yeah.
And that was really cool hearing him talk. It wasn't so much 90s nostalgia, and it was more just kind of listening to him about his process.
Yeah.
And like how he would illustrate things and they would come to life in the games and stuff like that. And it was really cool. And he talked about design decisions, Arch Rivals being another one of his games.
Yeah, we played what was it?
Pigskin.
Pigskin at Galloping Ghost.
Right.
That was another one of his that I did not realize existed.
Yeah. I wouldn't have played it today
yeah.
if
It's
we
Vikings
hadn't met him.
playing football, and they beat each other up a lot, and it's really hard to keep up with sometimes. but yeah, that was an interesting game.
Yeah. So that was the other highlight, which I mean, I didn't get to spend as much time with him as I did with Walter or Billy, but it was still
First
cool
name
to
basis.
go and talk. Yeah, Walt and Bill.
Oh man.
Because that's hitting about time. Oh, that was good. I enjoyed that.
Not a lot of goofs in this one,
It's all right.
but I really do. I think this was a fun con. And I would definitely want to go next year, and hopefully we can all go together and split a room 4 ways because that would be really cool.
I'd love to have
Or
four-way.
more ways.
More, yeah. I have downright orgy.
Yeah, we'll have
4 or more
Tadpog
ways.
prom up there. It'll be great.
Yes, I have a confession to make. I did a horrible job promoting our show when we were up there.
That's okay.
Like a really, really, really horrible job. There was this
You gave out that one card.
I gave out a card to a guy, and then what happened was I got to the end of the con, and it was like, oh, I didn't do anything with these cards. I just dumped a bunch on a table. So there you go. I didn't even wear a TADPOG shirt because I feel self-conscious because my face is on it.
No, I get that. I get that 100%.
So there's that. So I did a bad job, but I had a fun time.
You should have made me wear a shirt. That's what you should have done.
Yeah.
In retrospect.
Wear a shirt
Because you were shirtless the whole time. Man, I wish Paul put on a shirt. Make me, Dave. Well, I'm not going to make you put on a shirt. You're a big boy. You can go shirtless.
It's your decision.
You're gonna have to wrestle me.
Like Randy from Trailer Park Boys. I'm allergic to shirts.
It burns. That's how you know it's a shirt.
Well, thanks for listening, everybody. You can find the show on iTunes, SoundCloud, or Stitcher. So don't miss the next episode. It'll be part 2 of
Our journey to Chicago.
Dave and Paul's awesome Chicago extravaganza.
More goofs on that episode, maybe.
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 I don't know.
Maybe
Don't
not.
If you like this show, you can go to iTunes. You can go to Stitcher. You can give us a heart on SoundCloud. You know, whatever.
A hard on?
What's this about a
Give us
hard on?
give us a heart on SoundCloud.
It's working. I can feel it.
You can go to Amazon, buy a shirt. You can leave a review there, too. It's fine. We like all sorts of 5-star reviews. So if there's a game you want us to play, a guest host you want for an episode, or a Patreon request, there's plenty of ways to get in touch with us. Just contact us. And whatever you put out there for us, we promise we will get to that.
Eventually.
Don't worry, guys. Like Tyler said, we're going to be back. We're going to be talking about specifically our experiences at Round 1 and Galloping Ghost Arcade. In the meantime, you can always find us on Facebook. We're at facebook.com/tadpog. I am working really hard to try to publish more content on there. And I want to give a quick shout out to Jacob of Wolf Fighting fame, who has been recently feeding me content. So if you have recently read a post on our Facebook page, there's like a 80% chance that came from Jacob. So Jacob, thank you. I really appreciate it. Also, you can find us on Twitter. We are at tadpog_podcast. It's cumbersome. I realize. Hey, I tweeted a lot today and yesterday. So if you are interested in what happened at the con or after the con, check us out. We're at tadpog_podcast. Hey.
The con being where Billy Mitchell duped you. I get it.
He didn't dupe me. He converted me.
Showed him the light, Tyler.
I am an apostle. You can. Hey, did you enjoy this? I know that you did. Hey, would you like to give us money to go to more cons? You can do so at patreon.com/tadpog. Heartfelt thank you to those who donate. I would like to take a moment to thank some people. Douglas from Better Made, who has upped his pledge. Douglas, thank you. We appreciate it. I would like to thank Exalted Lord Micah Purdue for keeping that penny train rolling. Thank you. I'd like to thank Sandwich Pope Phil Hawkins for upping his pledge. Thank you very much. And I would like to thank Brett Miller for upping his pledge. Thank you very much. And I would like to thank the bloody-handed otaku jack of Ziggy Moons, Mike H., who just recently upped his pledge as well. That is a lot of people to
Yeah, it
thank.
is.
You guys are fucking amazing. Oops, I'm not done. Thank you, Kyle Purtleball, also for upping your pledge.
All berries.
You guys, seriously, this is amazing. It seriously is amazing. So thank you very, very much. Would you like to call us? Do you have any questions? Would you like to leave us a voicemail or send us a text message? You can do that at 270-883-2555. How do you feel about my new position on Billy Mitchell? Give me a call.
I have a feeling it's
let
going to
me know.
be kind of controversial.
Oh, it's probably going to be negative. Yeah, I'm fine being the Billy Mitchell of this podcast.
They said that about Jonestown too.
I've met the man.
Oh my God.
Is there because Paul's cool sent us packages? Do you want to send us anything to open on the show, to eat, to give us an interesting intro, a game you want us to expedite to play? So anything like that, you can send to TADPOG Studios, care of Nicole Nance, P.O. Box 3785, Paducah, Kentucky 42002. We also have an Instagram. I've been posting more stuff on that recently. Most of it's Pokemon related, but hey, it's content. So
Yeah.
you can see that at TADPOG_podcast.
Have you been posting your sweet catches?
What did I recently post? Well, let me open up Instagram because I posted some things today. I think I posted because I got the
Oh, nothing Billy Mitchell
What,
related?
all
Never mind.
those-
No, I don't care. Never mind.
when I get the flurry of 10K eggs. I posted that screenshot.
God damn you. I'm so jealous. I've gotten like 3 fucking 10K eggs.
So yeah, that's there. Thanks for because you still have to drive 2 hours, Paul. So thanks for coming on.
And we're not done recording.
Yeah. We'll get there. This is future Paul's problem. Right
Yeah,
now.
no, yeah. Don't even worry about it.
This is Chandra's problem tomorrow.
It's more like my supervisors at work's problems. But
Our theme song is Move by Singing More Drive. Link to that track we found in the show notes at tadpog.com. How do you guys want to close this out?
I don't know if there's a good Billy Mitchell
Don't you
impression.
dare. No. Don't you dare.
Don't sully his voice.
We can't do the man justice. So next.
We don't have a Metatron to
Next.
properly be his voice.
Oh, man.
Oh, what was that actor's name? Why can't I think of it right now?
Alan Rickman?
Alan Rickman. Yeah, Alan Rickman's dead, so no one can speak for Billy Mitchell. It's fine.
Except for us, who close the show out as Alan Rickman.
Yeah, Alan.
All right. So until next time, Tropical Capricorn Potter. Harry Potter, yeah.
For me.
Alan Rickman.
Harry Potter, Alan Rickman.
That's what I'm going to name my son.
The Rickmaning.